When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Within the gaming world, there are your general gamers, but then there are those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming. If you're one of those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming, we certainly got the place to send you. Scorpion Lair Games. That's right, Scorpion Lair Games is the creators of the true crime hit Killers, the card game. Let's not forget they also have Killers Clothing Company, their profiler game, and things like the 5-Minute Murder channel on YouTube. And we certainly can't forget the new book that is certainly a hit, Beyond the Headliners, True Crimes, Myths, and Legends. Make sure you visit Jeff and the Scorpion Lair Games on Facebook and everywhere today.
Hi, this is Kevin Spirtas, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this next guest is certainly a multi-talented performer, as he began his career on stage as a song and dance guy in the Palace Show over at Six Flags over Mid-America in 1980. He has been nominated and won some Daytime Emmys from both a writing standpoint and as an actor, such as winning in 2019 Outstanding Lead Actor in a digital daytime drama called After Forever, which was created by himself and his writing partner, Michael, which we'll get into. But also, most of our fans would know him from Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, which he starred with Kane Hodder and Lar Park Lincoln. Let's not forget he's also done other stage work and things such as Days of Our Lives. But let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Kevin Spirtas. Kevin, how the hell are you?
Crazy Train Radio. I'm good.
Yes. So, it's funny. I've been doing this 12 years now, and right away,
Yeah.
I had asked two people I trust. One I knew for sure worked with you, and Miss Laura Park Lincoln, who I've known since 2014. When this was booked, I said, "What am I getting into?" Because I'd never had any interactions or anything with you. And she goes, "You'll love him. He's great." The whole bit. But the other one, I was surprised that you worked with, who said the exact same thing.
Kane Hodder?
No, well, you never know what Kane will say.
That's
That's a whole nother, especially when we have some of this, whiskey.
He's the best, though.
No, I love Kane. No, but the other person was Julie Michaels.
Julie Michaels? How do you know Miss Julie Michaels? I love me some Julie Michaels. What a great, it's totally opposite Laura and Julie. Oh,
yes.
I owe Julie a call.
I won't say nothing. Don't worry. No, but because I was doing a little homework and it was the After Forever. And I said, I didn't realize you worked with Kevin. And she goes, "Oh my God, you'll love him like I do." So two, like you said, two different personalities, but they both had the same love and respect for you. So it's like, I knew I'd be all right.
Thank you very much. That's lovely to hear. I'll tell you a little story about both of them. And maybe you know this, or should we just cut past all this stuff?
No, we can go there.
So Laura and I met on Friday the 13th, part 7. And how many years ago is that? 40
87, 88, something like that.
We did not get along. It wasn't, intended. It wasn't a problem with the cast. We had different ways of coming to the work, and it kind of, hit each other, bumped each other, and, two bulls, with horns. But it was the results of the film. It looks great. She's great. I think I'm pretty good too. I mean, she's outstanding. But it was later years that we kind of met up at a convention and just fell in love with each other. And then, of course, when I did After Forever, she was so incredibly proud because she has kind of lived through some of that herself, that story. And Julie is a friend of mine through another friend, Denise Duff.
Subspecies. It's a small circle, so.
It's a very small circle. And Denise had introduced me to Julie because we were going to create this halftime show when Denise turned 50, and I was directing it, and Julie was producing it. And we went into this trailer on the MTM lot, in the back lot, and we were just talking with the woman who's going to help us with logistics and everything. And all of a sudden, I get a phone call. I said, "Direct that." And man, oh man, I come back in and they go, "What?" And my face was white. I just got nominated for an Emmy, and it was for this other thing called Winterthorn. I didn't win, but it was my first nomination, and Julie was there, and she sent me roses, and it was just. She's the best. She and Pee Wee, God love them.
Yeah, and
there's my
Julie,
story.
I know there's some stuff going on. I don't put things out publicly, but thinking of you, and I will reach out as well later on. So, yeah. But when both of them, like I said, two different personalities, the whole bit, but they were saying the same thing. It was awesome. So
I love that.
Yeah. So. Thought you would like to hear that first thing in the morning. It's always good to get a little
family. It's good to hear it from the family.
Yes. So, we'll go there with Friday first, since we're talking Laura and all. So, and you mentioned Kane, which Kane is a trip.
Oh, don't tell him I said this, but he's mellowed in a certain kind of way in his older years. But he's great.
He'll still with you though. Don't get.
He will still with you. Yes, he will.
Yes. I'll show you. Kevin called me a little while ago when he realized he was late, which was no big deal. So when we're done this, I'll text you a picture of Kane around at a show, at a convention. Yeah. And you will say the same thing that we all say. It's Kane being Kane.
Yeah. But he's softened. He has softened a bit.
Yes.
And I love him for that. I love that he's, he puts on such a great facade, and the fans love him. I think he's not just because he was my Jason, but he did so much in that movie. He's so great, and he's so amazing. And I'll never forget working with him. I'll never forget it. And I'll always appreciate it. And I'll always appreciate his humor and his professionalism and everything else he does. Let's get these glasses. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all that he is, and I'm not speaking out of school, but when it comes to Kane, but he does do a lot for the community as well. Yeah, whether it's burn victims or other charities, and he does do a lot that way.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Speaking of which, and this may have been told over a drink or two, and Kane is not a bullshitter, and he speaks. He's pretty blunt, but on the movie set, he talked about. Well, it wasn't on set, but it was at the hotel you guys were at in Alabama. Mm-hmm. Were you familiar with the hole that he punched in a hotel room that was framed up?
Oh, gosh. I think I've heard something about this. I don't know. I don't really. I made it very much my own business to take care of my own business, stay on my path. And I remember there was some, oh, gosh. So we had to put a dog down back in St. Louis where I grew up. And I just remember my mom and my dad was so upset. My dad, out of all, he wasn't even his dog. He sort of said, yeah, you can get the dog. And he fell in love with it and her. And but I remember that, and the Olympics were going on, and there was hypothermia going on, and just a lot of stuff. But I kind of remember hearing a story about Kane doing that.
Yeah, for the fans who aren't familiar with it, Kane was a little frustrated with stuff because shit happens. He goes to the hotel. It's like one of the last few nights you guys are down there because you're going to do like inserts and stuff back in LA. Well, he just, boom, puts his hand through either the bathroom door or the wall or something. So next morning he goes to check out of the room. Hey, I did this. Leaves some money to repair the sheetrock and such. Well, years later at a convention, a fan goes, hey, do you remember this happening, this incident? And he's like, how the hell does this fan know about this? Yeah, why? Well, instead of fixing it, they put a little frame around it.
Oh, they made a shrine out of it.
And put a little shrine and a plaque. Said punched by Jason from Friday the 13th, Part 7. So they just pocket the money instead of fixing.
Yeah. Well, Anyway, I bet they can charge more for that room too, by the way.
The fan may have said something along that line, but no. But I heard with the film at that point, there was maybe a special diet you were on.
You know what? I was on a special diet. I was trying to eat no carbs. I was really, and it wasn't about losing weight. It was about a healthier way of just being healthier. And no real sugar, no white sugar. It was either going to be through fruit or whatever, honey if I needed it. And there was one night that we were so hungry and we had been waited so long for this pizza, and I said, fuck it. I said, oops, shoot, I shouldn't be doing this. But I took this piece of pizza and I ate it, and I remember 2 seconds later it came right back. My body had already started to reject the things that I was not working on. So
nice.
Well, helicopter flying over. Can you hear it?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's good. So.
Oh yeah, we had. I remember getting a little sick that night, but once it came out, I was back on the set, ready to hit my marks.
There you go. Now, I just learned this morning, which was
Is that the story you heard, by the way?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
It didn't happen. No, kidding.
Yeah, no, never happened in it. He has no idea what I'm talking about. But there was a story that came out with Crystal Lake Memories. I don't know if it was the book or the documentary, and you found out years later that you might have been outed without knowing. What
No,
was it, the book or the documentary?
It was the book. And I blanked on his name, and I could care less. We had a very, very serious talk, and I said, this is off record, because I really wasn't ready to come out at the time, and it wasn't about me coming out, but he had, and here's a game. What's his name, Dan or something? To offer the book.
I know who you're talking, or Peter, or one of those guys.
Peter. And I just remember thinking, I said, you're not going to put this in the book. And he said, no. And there it is in the book. And then his partner at the time said, no, Kevin, you didn't. I said, you know what? Both of you, just, out of my life, you're dead to me. And it's not that it was, he did it to get a buck. And I was interviewed. He did it to get a buck. And I felt very taken advantage of. I felt very, very stupid about having even opened my mouth with the question, because he was a fellow gay man. And I thought there would be more protection from a brethren. And so that didn't happen. And I was at my first festival, actually, my first con. And it was all of the Friday the 13th people, just everyone from every 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. 12 was, I don't think 12 was hit yet. But, and someone came up to me, and I said to my friend, why are all these little goth gay boys coming up to me and they're so excited? And they go, Kevin, it says you're in the book. You're out, you're gay. I'm like, whoa. So, and if you didn't know now you do.
Yeah. And, that brings up an interesting thing that on the personal side there. And we're going to bounce around as we go here.
Bounce away, baby.
Hey, now. It's interesting the way I heard that story, and the trash is being picked up as we speak.
Let me close this door.
All good.
Okay, maybe that'll be a little helpful. Okay.
No, all good. So, when did you? Because the internet is always 100% truthful. So,
if it's in writing, it must be true,
especially online.
Yeah.
But when would you say you've become comfortable in being yourself?
That's a really great question, and I'll just dive into it right here. I don't know if I'm ever fully 100% comfortable with being myself. I know at one point I changed my name. I kind of ran away from who Kevin was. I kind of had to go back to Kevin. I've never liked the name Kevin, but now I like the guy that the name names. And, I had all this noise in my head growing up, and in my years growing up and being, being mentored and being, shaped to go into the leading man world, I was just always told, never, ever, ever talk about your sexuality. And it wasn't until I started realizing that, I'm really good at what I do. I'm a very good actor, and I'm a very good producer. And when I ran into Michael Slade, who had worked on Days of Our Lives, I'm going to jump to here. Michael Slade ran into me at the gym in New York. I had moved there for a while. And he said, "Are you Kevin Spirtas?" I was at the gym. "I used to write for you for Days of Our Lives." And I went, "Oh my God, Michael Slade, of course. I know the name. I just never knew the face." We started talking, and I had been introduced to the web series world. I'd been introduced to the digital dramas, and a couple of friends of mine were just starting to really get their teeth sunk into this world. And I thought, I want to do this. And I was cast in one, and I worked with my friend Sebastian McCause. And I asked him, how did he do this? And he said, well, I just wanted to write a part for me because there was no parts with my name coming down the pike. And it just hit me. I'm 51 at that time. I'm gay. I'm single. What do I know? I'm gay. I'm single, and I'm looking for love. And that's sort of when I talked to Michael, and we kind of created After Forever, and that came together. Michael said, Kevin, everyone's going to know now that, I said, I'm the only one who doesn't know. So please, let's just carry on. And the truth of the matter was, I'm really proud of who I am. I like who I am, and I love what I can do by standing in my truth. And I think sometimes it just takes a very long time. Sometimes it takes a shorter time for some, but it's always the right time. And back in those days when I was outed, and threatened by someone's loose lip, I was scared. I was, you go to the worst places you can go. And, but, I haven't killed anybody. I haven't lied to anybody about, law or anything. I haven't been accused of going to jail for misdemeanors and I'm a good
there was at one time I read. Oh wait, never mind.
No. That was my twin, my evil twin.
Yeah.
But I have to say, it's just really it's a process. There's some times that I come up to people and they ask a question, and the way they ask the question triggers me, and I have to calm down and go back to the place of being in neutral. Does that make sense? It's like
no, it does.
And yeah, I'm gay.
Yeah. I've been dealing with that with my birthday. So
your birthday. When's your birthday?
Today.
Come on. Happy birthday.
40.
My gosh. Happy birthday, Leo.
Thanks.
You're a Leo.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Leo.
Nice.
I just had my last birthday.
Nice. Well, let reciprocal to you.
It was not 4-0.
Yeah. So, it's funny because you mentioned Michael and After Forever and all that stuff. And it's almost lunchtime, so I'm going to start an early lunch. So, wouldn't be the first time. But would you say, because obviously After Forever is, like you mentioned, dating of an older man, non-teen, trying to find true love. What's that?
You said
you were trying to find dating as an older man, non-teen, but and after the loss of a husband and such. So with that role and story over the 3 seasons and such, would you say that is as close to Kevin Spirtas, the person, compared to the life imitating art, etc.?
Well, first of all, a lot of the story that came from both Michael and myself came from different parts of our lives. And I had wanted to do a dating show originally because I was going out on dates, and they were, they were setups, or they were from, on an app, and when I talked to Michael said, why aren't you in a relationship, Kevin? And I said, it's just not that time, have you eaten with me? We made a joke out of it. and not knowing anything about Michael, we just started to talk about stuff. I said to him, what about you? Are you involved with anybody? I didn't even know if he was gay. And, I didn't assume anything. And he said, well, I just lost my partner of 15 years to a horrible cancer about 1.5 years ago. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Do you still talk to him? That was the first thing that came out of my mouth. So that's sort of how we created After Forever. Parts of my life, parts of his life. And the character of Brian, I didn't have to be on a soap opera, twirling my mustache. Yeah, I'm going to get you at the hospital today, and I'm the chief of staff, and none of that. And
reminds me of that old cartoon character when you say that.
Yeah, exactly. It was. Michael gave me an incredible gift because he gave me something, because he was the wordsmith. We both came up with the story and we both wrote scenes out, but he really always went back over with a fine wordsmith tool. And he helped me stand in one of the most honest and truthful to who I am, like you said. And parts of me, I've never lost a great loved one that close to me, but I have lost loved ones. And together we had a lot of Michael in there as well. So I just sort of step into what he had written as part of my life. But I think it's very true to me. I mean, that being said, Days of Our Lives, on the other hand, when you walk onto the set every day, you get a script and it's like, okay, and you just sort of be yourself and you add on the characterization and the drama and the actions as you go along. So the things that you're most, I think they cast me on Days of Our Lives because I was closer to myself. I was that guy. And that was sort of how they entered me into the world of that canvas. But I'm most proud of After Forever. And though those who are listening and watching, we lost Michael in 2020. He had cancer and he found out halfway through our collaboration together. And that was really something I just was not prepared for. No one's prepared for it. No one can plan for it. And we were told he was going to survive. So, but he's with me all the time and I miss him. I'd call him up and I'd say, hey, you go, hey, buddy. I miss the buddy, but not unlike my character in After Forever, I can conjure him up. I can communicate with him or anybody else. I don't think when someone dies, they're dead. I think you can actually have an organic understanding. There's an invisible, powerful source that runs through everything. I'll call it God or a source, and I think that we're all still alive and we're all just in a different place.
They're in a different space.
Yeah, like Channel 2 and Channel 4 are on TV, and when you turn off to Channel 5, they're still broadcasting over there in Channel, whatever world that is. But yeah, it was a tough one. It did hit the life imitating art, and it was not fun. But
yeah,
we have the legacy.
And it's not about me here, but I think one of the reasons me and Laura hit it off so well, because I initially reached out and met her in person at a show in Atlantic City to book her for this. So we exchanged information, and I'm only bringing this up. And Laura, I'm sorry, don't kill me when I say this, but your story's been told. Because I know I'll get a text or something. What are you doing?
I'm texting her right now.
Yeah. No. So she, I think it took a year to do the first show with her, but we spent time getting to know each other as people and talking about our cancer diagnoses and fights and, I mean, okay. We got to deal with the real people, not just, oh my God, you did this, that, you did Dallas, you did that, the celebrity side of things. I mean, we got to deal with real people. So to hear you with
really good about keeping that away too. She loves to be real. She loves to be authentic. And that's the thing that I fell in love with her with. We just were acting.
And that's the same thing with me. It's I sniff out, I don't have time to deal with the bullshit and stuff. So when it comes to you, when it comes to you, that's why when both Laura and Julie said to me on two separate conversations, like I said, they said, when I brought your name up, they're like, when it was both positive responses, they're like, you love Kevin. Kevin's great. You'll really vibe with him. The whole bit. Because they're two people I trust who are upfront, honest, and they're going to tell you like it is,
Yeah. Thank you.
So
I didn't know about your story, and I trust all is well in your healing.
Yes, it was. And I make the joke of it, and whether I lead this in or not, I don't know. I had brain and testicular cancer. So the running joke I always tell, because I'm a sick and twisted bastard that way, is my little head affected my big head.
Well, I hear you, and you can keep this in or not. I think that words are very powerful. And I think that I tell this to my mom all the time. There's a great story. She was nagging and nagging. I said, Mom, please. This story I've heard 100 times, maybe 200, maybe 500. But you're going to keep pulling this broken chair, and you're going to keep pulling it with you, saying, this chair is broken. But you pull on it and you drag it and then you flop it down right in front of you and you still sit in it. And I said, Mom, you can't keep sitting in a broken chair and saying you don't want to sit in it. So she kind of got, oh, I shouldn't be dragging that chair around. And I think that our words and our actions and our thoughts are very, very strong, and they're very powerful. And that whatever you call it, the universal committee or the ethers or anything, I think when we put our words out there, that which we focus upon becomes our reality. And I think that you don't need to joke about any more of that, because that's a healing. You're healed. And that's the beauty of it. And, my little head and my big head are now healed. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
It's not that I bang on it, but it's just one of those, it's part of my story or my book.
I get it. I get it.
So
I support you in completing on the healing of it, by the way you speak it.
On the mental health side of things, because mental health is important to me and all that. It's funny you say that, and didn't realize we'd be going here, but what the hell, we're here. Because you have your diagnosis date, which becomes your anniversary. And I would say it was 10 years. And I'm a grumpy personality to begin with in a lot of ways. And even today, my family would tell you, because of the birthday and all, he's grumpy, he's miserable. It's about pity me. It's not about pity me. It's just my personality. Yeah. But it's like, as far as the anniversary date at the end of April, I'd always get like extra grumpy, if that makes sense.
Yes, because you have.
And I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. Like I was more grumpy than normal, my normal self, if that makes sense. And then it's like at the 10-year part anniversary, I go, like that light bulb goes up. And kind of what you're just saying, I don't have to stay in that space anymore.
Yeah, I commend you. I have other friends who have gone through what you've gone through, or Michael even. But I think that there's parts of my life that I've had to heal by turning inward and talking to that 7-year-old. That's me saying, I got you. I know you didn't receive the love, or you didn't think you had that, but let me take care of it. I'll let you go off and play. And that's the way I handle it as an adult. I don't let that 7-year-old run it anymore. So I know that when you have an anniversary of something like that, it's usually like, nope, you get to stay over there now, Mr. Cancer. And
like it wasn't one of those things that was up front. It was in my subconscious, I guess you would say.
I absolutely agree. I know exactly what you're saying.
The last thing I wanted to ask would, After Forever.
Yeah.
And again, I heard this morning, so God bless the internet, in the words of Bart Simpson.
Hey, man, don't have a cow.
Yep. You were being pushed to sell a pilot at the time, but you were afraid that they would change the vision if you sold After Forever. What's the story behind that?
Yeah, I do talk a little bit about that on the internets. Excuse me. So it fell upon me because I had said to Michael, he said, I have no idea how to raise money. And I said, well, I do, and I'm not worried about the money. Let's just write our scripts. And we got the first season all laid out. And we invited people to see a staged reading, is what they call it, like a backers audition. And I went to a lot of people, and I got a lot of money for the first year. But I went to someone who said, Kevin, listen, we're going to give you money. And it's a great story. Just, shoot the pilot and then sell it. And I said, well, I'll take that to Michael and we'll let you know what we think. And if he wasn't going to give me money afterwards, that was fine. But the truth be told, Michael and I knew that we had something. And I just remember saying to Michael, I don't want to, if we're going to shoot the pilot, we're still going to be in the kitchen. We might as well shoot all the kitchen scenes that we're going to do for the show. There's 8 small episodes. We can get this done. We can crank it out in the amount of time we can do a pilot. And
how dare you try to be practical, Kevin? Come on.
Well, no, but I mean, listen, I've been in that world where, Kevin, you're not going to get the job because they're going to go with this name, or Kevin, they went with the name again, or they're only looking for names. This is my project. This is my part of my story, and Michael's too. And we just knew that no one had the vision that we had. No one knew what we knew, and we thought if we give it away, there's a great possibility they'll recast us. We won't be able to be the showrunner, and we won't be able to deliver what I think is probably one of Michael's and my greatest works. And I'm so proud of that. 6 Emmys later.
You know what that sounds like? And I'm based in the Philadelphia area. And obviously the story's been told, but it almost sounds like Sylvester Stallone's story with Rocky when he was trying to sell the script and stuff, where he was afraid of being recast, whether it was Burt Reynolds or a few other people. Where they said, no, the vision was this. I have to be a part of it the whole bit. In some ways, part of it is my story. So, as soon as you tell that, it reminds me of that story in particular.
I think, you know what? I remember talking about that with Michael about Rocky, about Sylvester Stallone, and we just knew. We kind of had this like little secret that we kept, and we just knew it was going to be ours, and anyone could support that, or no one had to at all. And the wonderful thing about, I have a memory that first season we were showing the cast and crew the final edit, all 8 episodes, and we were in this little theater downstairs in a New York screening room. And it was exciting, and everyone was laughing and crying, and it was beautiful, and the lights were still out. And Michael's like we're against the wall. There's the screen, and I looked at it. I just went, "Did we do that?" And I looked at him, and he looked back at me with tears, and he said, "Yeah, we did." And that to me was worth everything. We knew we had something. And that was before any nomination. That was before any excitement with, people getting to see it and getting its premiere. And it was just, I remember looking and going, that's like real. That's like a thing that you'd see at Paramount, or, it just was so right. We had the right team. We had the right amount of people. We had the right stuff. And I'm proud of that.
It's amazing. It's one thing when we all have that moment where we think our shit is great, but to have that moment watching the first season there and everybody's singing, there's a certain satisfaction in knowing that the product was probably better than you expected it to be.
Yeah, I mean, the product. Here's when Michael wrote the first script for the first episode, he sent it to me while I was in a cab ride at 4:30 in the morning, going to JFK to catch a plane to Aruba to jump onto a ship and do my one-man show. And I was exhausted, and I look at my phone. Oh, the first script. I read these 7 pages before I got to New York Kennedy, JFK, and it was everything I had ever imagined. I mean, it was everything, the way he described it, the way he wrote it, the way he said things. And I just remember weeping in my hands, like in the cab going, this is beautiful. I would do this. Oh, I am doing it, and so, yeah, it does get, I don't know if it was better than we expected. I just know that when you go to see a movie in the theater and it turns out it goes to the Academy Awards and then it wins the Academy Award for something big, and you go, that was a great film. I just remembered that's the same feeling I looked at honestly, not to be pumped up or puffed up and, egocentric. That was something we did. That was something of ours. And it fit.
So you are very multi-skilled, I guess or Yeah, I'll stay with multi-skilled. I don't care if I'm grammatically correct. But
We'll take it.
at this point, yeah, we'll go with it. But what would you have such a vast background? You did some stage work. You actually even worked at Six Flags Mid America.
Woo! I did.
But you've done stage, you've sang, danced, learned scripts, been a part of producing and writing. But you have all these things you could put on a resume professionally. What was the toughest skill you think you had to learn for your professional career?
Oh, everyone would say I think it's producing. I kind of make the producing up. I think I'm a good actor, but I'm a really good producer. I don't have the studio behind me or a studio experience behind me, but I'm a good producer. I know how to get things done. I know how to call people, and it doesn't matter if they say no, I'll call someone else. And that was something I gotta put my plug in, I think. That was something I really, really knew. And I can tell you that for me, it was, if I lead from actor, I'm a good actor. But if I lead from producer, I'm a great actor, because I just know it has to start. But technically, I think the hardest thing for me so far might have been letting the Australian accent to stand by for Hugh Jackman and the Boy from Oz on Broadway. And now I've got to plug this in, or I'm going to lose you. 1 second.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, here we go. All right, I'm plugged in. I'm coming back. There you go, mate.
Well, hello there.
There you go. As he hits with the extra Australian accent.
That's right. That was my Australian accent is actually Hugh Jackman talking, because it's more of an imitation of him, because I'd hear him every night and I would copy him, and I'd make sure that was the word I said, and it wasn't to copy him; it was just the way to lock in. And I guess that's how you learn accents anyway. It's like music; it's sort of like music to the ear. But I studied it, and there would be times I'd freak out in dreams. I never went on for them, but I'd freak out going, I didn't do the accent, So that was always in the back of my mind.
Yeah, and the reason I think you bring up Hugh Jackman is because you worked as an understudy for him for The Boy from Oz.
Standby, yes, the Standby.
Yeah, but like I said, you've mentioned, or you've participated in all forms of entertainment: TV, stage, movies, etc. Which do you think is the best medium for you, but also which do you think is the most difficult? Because I know plenty of people that have done across the board like that, and it's a different vibe for each medium, because when you're doing stage, whether it's Broadway, off Broadway, you get that live feel, where TV and movies are taped.
Yeah, it's a different muscle. Days of Our Lives is a totally different muscle than even just regular daytime or regular television. I prefer, there's nothing like live theater. There's nothing like singing. There's nothing for me live. And I'm actually in the throes of putting together a new show, a new one-man show, and working on it and singing and seeing if there's more of a story than just standing up and doing songs is my mathematical working out equation. I will say, though, there's nothing like being on stage and hitting the back wall with a song, or you get that immediate, instantaneous gratification from the audience. However, I think there's a really wonderful thing you get to do with film. And the film, and even TV, you don't see it for months sometimes. So what did I do down the road? Oh, that's what I did. Oh, that's what. But being in charge of it, if you're the producer, if you're creating it, you're kind of always along the way. You're seeing it. I think there's a magical amount of creativity you can do on film, and that's the way I love to tell stories. That's the way I love to get into a story. But that's a different muscle too. So the live theater is my favorite though. And it's just too hard to do sometimes. 8 shows a week. Come on. That's a lot of energy.
Yeah. A lot of work too. And sometimes you get the matinee and the night show and just different.
Yeah, it's a grueling schedule. And I don't know if there's something a pill that can be taken to make it easier, but you just have to go through it. And it's something that you don't know always because your voice may be faltering and it's cold out, or you get I like this film.
With that being said, obviously you go to LA to start doing TV and films, you did things like Hills of Ice 2 with Wes Craven, that, like we said earlier, Friday, Part 7 and such. But going from stage to doing TV and film and stuff out in LA, because there's a little bit of a theater aspect outside of the city, but it's not as prevalent as in New York. How did you find your rhythm going to the different mediums?
Well, I had to work some things out. I jumped into acting class. I remember one of my agents was very kind to me by telling me on several occasions that the producers might have thought I was a little light. And I said, what does that mean? Little light and little loafers. Oh, what? And I'd come from dancing. I'd come from gymnastics. I came from very large and and stage is that.
But that's the medium you have to perform it as, though.
Yeah, and I was good on stage. I had to learn to hold back. I had to learn how to trust that I was hitting everything, every note, every part of the story, of the script, whatever. I had to know that I was hitting those points with power and authenticity. And it took me a while. It took me all about 4 months. No, it took me, I think it was about the first year I was out here a year and I got Wes's movie, Hills Have Eyes 2. And then about a year later, I still had some work to do. And I booked a soap called Rituals. And that's when Laurie Openden, the casting director, looked at me and she said, "You have got this down." I went, "Oh, thank you." I didn't know what I had. But she, that was a year of training. That was a year of being able to see myself on TV, see what I could do, what I'd like to do more of, where I didn't want to do, where I do less. It's a very, very reliable. Wait, I had to rely on myself. There you go. Mm-hmm. To make sure that I was teaching myself and watching carefully and honestly. And no one was going to do that for anyone except me.
Yeah. It's funny. You mentioned, I hope you can explain this, because on a different conversation you had, you mentioned about buying into SAG. Now, obviously, I'm familiar with SAG, but I'm not. This was a new thing for me hearing this. Because what is actually buying into SAG?
No, here's what happened along the way. When I was in New York and I got this contract for a chorus line, which was a show I wanted to do all my life. I saw it on stage come through St. Louis, and I wanted to be in that show. And there I am. A year later, I'm doing the show on tour. I'm singing the song, I Can Do That. And I was under a white contract. So everyone on the line, if you're familiar with the show, A Chorus Line, there's a lineup of gypsies and dancers, and we are selling our story. Other characters that get cut in the very beginning, they're on a pink contract. They're the chorus of the show, and they were off in the wings helping us sing. I was actually a pink contract when I first joined the show, and then I was bumped up to the white contract. If you are, and I don't know if it's still this way now, but at the time, if you were a white contract, if you were signed on a white contract for at least a year, no less than a year, you could take that information and you could go to SAG and you'd say, "I'd like to buy in as a member of SAG." And a lot of the people at that time said, "Are you SAG?" are you SAG? And I'd say, yes, I am, because now I could work for them. I could work in a SAG show. It's different now, though. People don't necessarily have to be SAG. They don't necessarily have to work. They can be SAG deferred. But there's a way to go about getting a SAG card. That was just me doing my homework and my preparation of saying, I got my equity card, I've got my after card already. So here, let's get my SAG. And that's how that worked out. That's how I bought into it. It wasn't about sneaking around it.
Nice. And I got to ask about another mutual friend, acquaintance. And I met her through Julie, but you met her earlier, Miss Denise Duff, in Subspecies 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Is it the makeup line that she has that makes you look so good at your age?
Oh, yes. It's her in-your-face makeup. It's actually moisturizer. I was going to say, when I met Miss Denise Duff, I fell in love.
How can you not?
Sister. Yeah, she's like my sister. We have such an incredible relationship. I'm finding a picture of us right now that you will absolutely get it. And it's because of her that I ended up going to do Subspecies 5, the prequel. I'm sure of it, because she told Ted, you got to have Kevin back in. Well, Kevin's character's dead. Yeah. So make him a vampire, she said. And I said, okay. So this was actually, we went to Serbia to do this just before season 3 of After Forever. And oh my God, she would help me with my lines. I'd help her with her lines. And there was just no doubt of how our friendship has lasted for so long. She's just amazing. She can make anything happen. She has the ability to calm and excite and push aside and pull toward you, anything. She's just amazing. She took these incredible pictures of me she's a photographer too.
She's a woman of many hats.
Yes, she wears a lot of hats. She does. And she's taught me, here's some of the shots she, I don't think your fans will be able to see. Are they going to watch this?
It's going to be audio only, but I could take screenshots of.
Got it. I keep asking away. I'm just going to keep finding this. I'm digging through millions of pictures here.
She reminds me a lot of Laura and Julie, where they wear many hats and do many things. Janice is one of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing is, yay! I found some here. I've never. So here's an example. So I was having lunch at a restaurant near where Denise was living in LA before she moved to New York for a while. And she said, I think I want to do this show. This is the show I was telling you that Julie was producing. And it's a one-woman show, and I really want to tell stories. And I said, I'm the only one who can direct this. You know that, right? I'm the only one who gets you and knows you the way you need to go. And she goes, oh my God, are you serious? I said, absolutely. And that started our professional, me, producing, directing her and her writing. And she's amazing. Gosh darn, here, wait, I'm backing up. And her mom, I loved her mother, and she loves my mother. We're family. Yeah.
It's amazing how that works out, isn't it?
Here we go. This is me and her on our last day of filming. This is great. Come on. Hello.
Damn phones. Nice.
And Ted's talking us through something. But this is the very thing that you'll see our connection here. This is what I love about Denise and me, is that we are just constantly having the best time. And we went for walks in Serbia and found things and made things. And so here's her, so we took a couple of pictures of me and her, and we decided we were going to be Serbia, CSI, Serbia. And this is a picture.
It's great.
And, but she did all these other things like, look at the shot that she took here.
Yep, that's totally her work. Yep,
it's so great. And then I'm going to find the swing set. That was what I was really looking for. Is that we found the swing set, and I caught the most incredible picture of the two of us. here. Is it coming? Is it coming? It's coming, I promise. It's coming. And oh my God. This is not the swing set, but this is just us laying on the castle floor. And I'm boring you.
No, you're fine.
The shot is so here. Okay, look. This is how we have it. This is our fun.
Yep, that's 100% her.
Kids on a swing set. And I just love her. Love her here.
How can you not? And she is one of those like the other two I kept mentioning, so beautiful inside and out. It's scary.
Yeah, and she's just gorgeous. And it's like it's over here. She doesn't leave it. It's just amazing. Just amazing.
And that's funny because it seems like the people I've mentioned that would be in both our circles, but also, leads to, you hear it all the time. And I would say, and I could be wrong with this being on the fringes of the biz, but they say that, when you're working on a project, whether it's Broadway, movies, TV, we're a family, we're this. But with certain people, you do, like a Denise and everybody else, you do end up like family, and you have that. Do you find that to be true, or a lot of times, or is it lip service most of the time, would you say, when people are promoting stuff? We're a family, we're this, we're that, whatever.
Wait. You're asking two questions? You're asking one. You're asking how do we react when people say you're like family?
Like when they when people will do like press junkets and stuff where they promote that. We were such a family as a casting crew, but I find it to be lip service a lot of time. They're just saying it you've built these relationships with some of the same people I have and you really do have like that family connection.
Yeah, we really do. And I can see why people might give it lip service because they don't want to out somebody for being an asshole or being a jerk, or they don't want to get in trouble with the studio or the company. But we really had that. Denise and I have always had it. So that's a great thing. And I found that even learning from other people, I can take that into the next job over and over.
Well, it's funny. We've been on for almost an hour, and first I want to ask. Yeah, I know it's flown. Before I get to the real heartwarming and all, I guess you would call it, depending on how you view it, question, I got to mention, because I was actually talking to him last night as well too, briefly, Peter Anthony, and you guys came back together for Roseblood.
Yeah.
So what was that like, going back, visiting that story, say 25, 30 years later from the original movie?
It was, we were kind of special. We were specialized at that. We were, how can you say this? We were brought back because we were the staples and the foundation of the first part of that series, 7. And it was great. Laura and I had fun. Terry, Terry Kaiser, he was great. So loved it. I just loved it. And Peter Anthony's a good director. He's a good director.
And Peter, I know what you were saying last night, but I hope you get the knee situation finally fixed sooner rather than later.
That's right. Oh gosh.
Yeah. I hope you don't mind me saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway. But I know he's had a couple of knee surgeries, and it's been one of those pestering things for him. So I hope it becomes, healed sooner rather than later for you, buddy. And like I told you last night, next time we're in the same area, I owe you that beer. Because it was funny. We were at a convention in South Jersey for Monster Mania and saw each other at the bar. He's like, hey, let me buy you a beer. And, we're talking. And you know how PD is, very personable with everybody.
Yeah.
I went to go to return the favor. I was like, he's completely gone from the bar. So it's like, for months now, it's like, dude, I owe you that receipt or that beer back. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, but deal. Because Peter's a social butterfly. And I mean,
yes, he is. He is. I love that about him, though. This big tough guy is like, "Hey, I'm gonna help you out." Yeah, he's good. He's good that way. I like it. I like it.
He's like,
We're gonna
"Hey, I'll
keep
be
him.
right back." Well, I go to buy us another round, and it's like he's completely gone from the bar. I was like, "Where'd he go?" But that was Pete being Pete, or as Kane would say, "Hey, Petey." Hey,
He's got a good heart. He's got a good heart.
Good dude. Good dude. All right. So my final question. I like.
Oh yes.
What's that?
Question. Final question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's everybody has different opinions of it, but for you, and you've obviously had success throughout your career, but how do you personally define success? Is it a number of awards which you won? Is it a certain amount of money in the bank? What, there's different avenues you can look at, but how do you personally define success?
I define success as a way of walking through your days here on this planet with courage and with open heart. I think that it's great to have all the accolades and everything, but if you're not doing something you love, you're not being kind to yourself and others, there's no anything. It's kindness, it's love, and it's not always caring what other people think or say from a place of being humble, not arrogant. Does that make sense?
That's beautifully said. So what's next for you? What do you got? I know you said you're working on a one-man show you're putting together. What do you see the rest of 2024 for you?
Oh, I see the rest of 2024 conjuring up a great job. I'm writing a script with another writing partner. It's not about death. It's not about dying. It's about love, and it's based on a story that happened in 1917, a situation, and that's the only real part about it. We're taking that and making that happen. And the music, I'm letting it be revealed. I'm drawing it to me. So,
Kevin, thank you so much for the time.
Hey, my friend, thank you, and keep on healing.
Hey there, Friday fans. We know how much you enjoy the movies. Enjoy grabbing your Friday merchandise and interacting with the Friday family, whether it be at conventions or during our particular watch-alongs. Well, when you're looking to get yourself masks, why not check out our friends over at Camp Blood Customs out of New York State and order your specific custom mask from any of the films. All orders are made specifically. Your needs and wants are. Make sure you find Camp Blood Customs on Facebook, Instagram, and all over social media and order yours today.
This is Laura Park Lincoln coming up on Crazy Train Radio.